Hey guys, this is your girl SolieSims and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're brand new and joining me for the first time. I am finally getting into the whole Paralives craze and I am jumping in straight with a build. This is my first build in Paralives and let me tell you, I am so excited for this. So what I decided to do for this build is go with a cozy boho-inspired apartment for my para whom I made. Her name is Arya Ramsey, and if you know the names from which show it is, just let me know by leaving a comment down in the comment section. So Arya is a young adult just starting out in Milano. I can't remember the name of the town, guys. So anyway, she's a young adult and I really just wanted the apartment to reflect her personality and lifestyle. So while decorating, I imagined someone who loves cooking, hosting for friends and family, traveling, and just surrounding herself with meaningful memories and experiences. So for the color palette for this boho-inspired build, before I go on, I want to say that it is extremely hot here. It's in the 90s, so if you do hear the fan in the background, it's only because I really need it. Otherwise, I will just be a sweltering mess. So to continue, for the color palette, I chose a mix of dark olive greens, caramel tones, alloy orange, and pops of lemon meringue yellow, and other soft pastel colors such as pinks and blues, and just something that ties it in, that's to make it a little bit less rigid and uniform, although I don't think that it came out that way at all. And it just something to help blend the colors in together and make the place feel like it's not just it's not like just a staged set basically. So I wanted the space just to feel a little bit earthy and warm, and where the creativity of who Arya is as a para can really show. So I also tried in different textures throughout the apartment, so nothing felt really too flat or overly coordinated. That is what I wanted to see. I didn't want it to feel overly coordinated, so I did a nice little blend. And I just wanted to look like all the pieces were collected over time, because in my head, my para, my Arya, has traveled a bit. She's not just this stagnant person. She's such a free spirit. She's energetic and active and very social, and so she's been places, she's seen things. And so I just wanted the items in her home to feel like it's been collected over time, instead of just something that's perfectly curated for the space that she already has. Since this was literally my first time opening up the game and exploring the build and buy mode, I was definitely learning as I went, and it was a bit of a curve, I will tell you that. I had no idea where anything was at first, and me and the cameraman, we fought. It felt like I was fighting for my life. It was a little bit frustrating, but I mean, the game is in early access, and as I'm sure that you've heard from other creators before, so you do expect those little glitches, etc. But I really hope that they do work on the camera aspect as soon as possible, because it does make building, especially in tight spaces like this one, just a little bit more difficult. And you will see there will be a few places where things jump around a bit, so just please go easy on me. There were definitely moments where I spent too long trying to rotate items properly, or try to figure out where something disappeared to in the catalog, and only after, when I actually tested it out and I went into live mode, I would see that some of the items that I just couldn't find after I placed them, they probably went down into a lower section, or they were up in the bedroom, or you know, one or the other. So that was eventually sorted out. About midway through building, I realized it would probably be easier for me to go through the catalog first and just put out all the pieces that might be suited for the apartment. to adjust the colors, because I did use the hex codes, which is a beautiful, fantastic feature in the build menu. So I grabbed the hex codes that I wanted for the colors that I wanted to implement in the space, and so a lot of the items I had to custom color them. So I just felt that it was easier for me to pull out all the items, adjust the colors and finishes, and then work on placing everything afterward. And that workflow honestly made things so much easier for me, especially while trying to learn the mechanics at the same time. And so you would see where I placed the items after. So unfortunately, that also means that the final part of the kitchen clutter didn't get recorded. So I do apologize for that. But honestly, cluttering the kitchen, and we have so many clutter items, and we can make so many things out of the items that we were given. Cluttering was one of my favorite parts because it really helped the apartment feel personal and more lived in. And I feel like the kitchen in general, in any home, really tells so much about the character, especially for someone like Arya, who loves cooking and taking care of people. One thing I absolutely loved while building was how much freedom the game gave to be creative. At one point, I actually used a mirror, as you saw, to create a mirror tree, which is probably one of my favorite little details in the apartment as well. And I feel like Paralives really encourages you to experiment and think outside the box when you're decorating spaces. And I can already tell people are going to create some amazing builds once everyone fully settles into the game. I'm so excited to see what everyone comes up with, because I have been binging content from not just live mode, but building in particular. I'm a Sims girly. I love building as much as I love creating stories, etc. in my head, because it doesn't really translate great when I try to put it in video. But when I tell you, I absolutely fell in love with the storytelling from some of the creators so far, and the creation aspects of it, all the different styles that I already see coming out. It just made me more excited for me to get the game, and I just waited for the patch to settle in, and before I said, like, okay, you know what, it's been a couple of days now, let me jump on the bandwagon. I couldn't stay away any longer. I absolutely needed to get it, and I'm so glad that I did. And here we are with my first build. Now, I also took advantage of being able to add custom artwork into the frames throughout the apartment. So I had an idea of who I wanted my para to be, the type of person, and I felt like I went searching for ideas of artwork that would suit her. So I went on Pinterest, and I just found images that match Arya's vibe and her personality, especially photos that made the apartment feel like it was well traveled and full of memories from those travels. So there are lots of travel inspired touches, there are celebration photos and artwork just scattered throughout the space that really helped bring her story to life. And I wanted it to feel like you could walk into this apartment and immediately understand who she is as a para. So on that note, let me tell you a little bit about the style of the apartment before I go on to tell you about the para who lives here. So the apartment itself is a 2-story loft style space, and it's right on the town square. Downstairs is the main living area with the kitchen, the dining space, the lounge area, while upstairs is more private with the bedroom and the bathroom. I really like separating the apartment that way because it made the downstairs feel more social and lively, while upstairs was a little bit softer, quieter, more of a private space, understandably so. This particular lot, though, what I love about it, it has 2 entrances. So this one comes in from her apartment, comes in from a downstairs street going all the way up, like she's on the 3rd floor basically. But from the courtyard, the courtyard entrance, which is where there's the barber shop, the restaurant, the flower shop, the well is right there in the middle. You get, I think, 2 stories. One goes down and one is on the ground floor, and one goes down almost like a kind of half basement. And they've blacked this off. Not that it's not available for use, you can actually access it. It's just that it's been blocked off so that it looks like it's grayed out and maybe somebody else lives there. And I'm really hoping that that means that in the event that Arya wanted to be a landlord in future, she can definitely rent out that space. I'm really hoping that that's what that could mean. But I do love that that is an option as well, that there is the possibility that you can actually separate the 2 living spaces in one building. I love that. I do have freedom right now to decorate the whole lot, the second apartment, if I wanted to. But of course I don't want to. I just really want this space for her. The other thing I really like is the quirky shape of this apartment. I felt like it really suited Arya's personality as well, because it's such a wedge shape, and you guys will see what I mean as we go forward. The other thing that drew me into this space is that whilst we were on the train after I created her, coming into this place, I can't remember the name, so I won't try to to pronounce it. As we're coming in, just for a moment, there was a cut in the apartment walls where I saw the upstairs area, the bedroom, and I was like, oh, maybe I want her to move in there. And you know how it is when you get into the map and you have to choose a place to stay. I could not figure out what location how that apartment was. I kid you not, guys, I really suck at direction. It's an ongoing joke between my friends and I on how bad it is I am at directions. And I just happened to click. I was like, okay, well, this is the closest place to the courtyard. I'm just going to click on it, and it just happened to be that same apartment. So I was ecstatic about it. I absolutely loved it. Whilst I was deciding, I was like, okay, maybe this place, because it's right there in the courtyard, it's in the middle of everything. I feel like that's the type of vibe that I would want to go for her, and it was the same apartment. So I was like, this was meant to be, this was supposed to be Arya's apartment. And both floors have balconies, and they're filled with plants and greenery, because again, I feel like Arya would absolutely be the type of para to turn every single corner of her home into a cozy little escape. And I could picture her sitting outside in the mornings with coffee, growing herbs for cooking, or staying out there late at night talking with her friends. Decorating the balconies, honestly, became one of my favorite parts and frustrating parts, I will say, as well, of the build, because they made the apartment feel even more lived in, and it was like an extension of the living space. The balcony, she can enter both balconies at the top and at the bottom. I actually put a chair in the balcony that is in the living area, the living room lounge area, and she sat out there. I wish that she could sit out there with a cup of tea, or with, like, get something to eat and go sit out there. I was happy. I took a picture, you guys will see in the end. And I just really like how I love how it turned out. I really do. So let's talk just a little bit about the para that I made for this space. I've already said her name, Arya Ramsey. She's a young adult. She's a foodie. I actually hopped into gameplay after I tested this build. Some things I did change a bit, because for some reason she was upstairs, she was able to move around upstairs, but when she went downstairs and I was testing to see if she could get back upstairs and interact with the items upstairs, I could not get upstairs. I was so frustrated. I took out stuff below the stairs, still had routing issues. I restarted the game. I could not figure out what the issue was, and I finally decided to take out a curtain that was directly in front of the stairs. So I guess that causes a bit of a routing issue, particularly when there is a single tile step. And that's another thing that I absolutely love about this game as well, is that And you will see upstairs particular is very narrow, and I didn't want to give her a tiny bed. I thought about it, but I was like, it's still a single bed, but it's a wide single, if that makes sense. I feel like 2 powers can definitely sleep in there, but it's not a double. And the space is very narrow. So I guess the curtain hanging right in front of the stairs leading up did not help at all. So I actually had to take that off, and that was fine. In the end, it worked, and I'm happy. I also had to change the bathroom shower. I originally had one of the bigger stalls, but sizing it down didn't really help because of the weird angle of the shape of the bathroom. So I just put a standalone shower, and that worked fine as well. I want to put up a curtain maybe, but probably not. I feel like it's fine. It's fine. It works fine. So I will not even interfere with anything else in there. So let's talk about my goal. So in my head, Arya is definitely the kind of para whose apartment is always warm and inviting. She is a vegetarian, and she loves experimenting with new recipes. So I imagine her spending a lot of time in the kitchen trying different dishes, baking for friends, or hosting little dinners and game nights. And I wanted the apartment to feel like somewhere people would naturally gather together, and where there's always music playing softly in the background, there's plants everywhere, and there's food always being cooked, etc. I did add in incense as well on some of the shelves, and candles, and I imagine they're scented candles, and I changed the colors in different ones, so I imagine it's different scents. But I do feel like this space always just smells really good, is what I imagine. There's always something going on, there's always something brewing, this space just smells really good. What I did not do though, guys, is put in a television. I did not put in a TV. I don't think that she's very interested in television. I feel like she would faster curl up with a book or maybe some other craft. I haven't figured out what else that's possible in the game. Maybe she would maybe play a game, but not like, when I say play a game, I mean like on the computer, because she does have a small computer upstairs, etc. I did give her a job as a cook in the hospital, and whilst I was doing regular gameplay, guys, I put her in a group with 3 other paras, and I did not know that I thought it was a case where you had to interact with paras one-on-one. Although in the video they did show us that that's not necessarily the case. And the together cards, which I absolutely love. I love it. It's really addictive. When I spoke about anything, it would affect everybody. So I immediately made 3 new friends right away whilst going through the different things. There are some of them that I actually noticed that if I made a joke, for example, I got like a higher score with one opposed to the other 2. And then there was one interaction where I said, let's gossip about our work co-workers, and not knowing that one of the girls is actually one of my co-workers, and we both got in trouble for office gossip, although we were not even in the office. So these little things, I really liked it. It made me laugh. I don't know, guys. If you do not yet have the game, and that's completely understandable, you may want to take some time for you to get into it, but I'm telling you, please, guys, be open-minded. I have seen a lot of creators gush about this game, which I'm so happy for, because they do realize that it is not The Sims 4. It is not Enjoy. It is its own game, a own separate game, another live sim. Why can't all the live simming games just be what they are, their own unique game? And it's not a competition. It's not something to get rid of one game or the other. They each have their own styles, etc. I got really disappointed in one creator in particular, which I was not expecting to be so negative whilst playing. I actually, it put me off of watching their content whilst they were playing the game, and I changed the video. I went to watch something else because they kept comparing it to Sims 4. Guys, it's not Sims 4. It never claimed to be Sims 4. It never claimed to be something that would take over Sims 4. That was never the claim. It was just something that passionate life simmers decided that, you know what, I'm not satisfied with how my current game is going, so I want to create something new for myself. And this is what it came about, and we've been following it for so many years, and we've grown with it. We've seen how much they've grown and developed, and absolutely love it. I'm going off on a tangent because I'm so annoyed by this whole thing about the whole game wars, or the game dramas, rather the life sim dramas that is happening, which is ridiculous. Each game stands on its own merit. You either like it or you don't. You either choose to play it or you don't. Just don't bash it. Don't bash it. Anyway. Anyway, I'm so sorry. I just went off right there. So to continue, guys, I think overall, I had a lot of fun with the build. And even with the chaos of learning everything for the first time, I honestly can't wait to experiment a bit more with future apartments and houses. I haven't tried yet to do a whole freestanding house as yet, maybe with a lot less refined or restricted space, I should say. I'm thinking the reason why I had a lot of wonky camera angles to begin with is that I'm not familiar with the camera angles right now. Also, it's between two buildings, so I had a little bit of trouble trying to navigate that space. So I feel like if I try to do like a regular build, that would be fine. And I just can't wait to experiment and see what I do. And I already feel like there's so much creative freedom in Paralives, and this build definitely made me excited to keep exploring everything the game has to offer. So I can't wait to see what other people come up with. I love watching the new content. It's been so refreshing. It's been so much fun. Oh, I made my own gallery wall, guys. I really like this one because I just realized I spoke about the apartment, I spoke about my power, I went off on creators who just can't appreciate and enjoy a new game for what it is without bashing it or comparing it or whatever. See, I had a little bit of issues and stuff, but it all worked out in the end. And the images that I chose, like I said, I feel like it's probably places she's been with her friends, places she's traveled to. Not everything is like photos of her friends or I was gonna say her Sims of her friends or herself, etc. But it's things that she's experienced and whatever mood she was feeling at the time that she grabbed. And I wanted to bring in a lot of things that would just make her seem like the bright, colorful person that she is. And yeah, I think I did not anticipate speaking throughout as much of the video as I did. I honestly didn't. My intention was to do a quick voiceover and just let the music play and leave it at that. And then I got impassioned about it. But also, guys, I want to know if you're still here at this point through all my ramblings. I want to know if you prefer this type of video where I put everything that I'm looking for in one room and then decorate from there, just to make things easier. Or would you prefer the regular long form where people would normally individually pick the items in the catalog and place it out where you can see what it is that's being done? I'm always happy to share the color hexes that I used or anything like that if somebody is interested in any of the colors that we use. In fact, I think I'll probably just go ahead and put it in the description box in the event that anyone wants to copy those colors. I think it would probably make things a little bit easier. Or I can also do some long form videos where it's not sped up and we're talking in like live moments, etc. The other thing too, if you're new to my channel, you would see that I typically don't really talk too much about just the build. I like to talk about the persons or the in this case, Para, that I am building the space for. I feel like that tells more than just the architectural design, etc. I like to have an idea of who it is I'm building for before I go ahead and build, so I know what it is I'm putting in there. So I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this as well. I do want to appreciate you guys that decided to stick around and watch through all of this and listen to me rant and rave and just spew my excitement. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. Now I'm going to go ahead and sign off here, but I am looking forward to seeing you guys again in another video soon. Goodbye.